first time I'm feeling truly successful in a place that is completely broken. So I decided to come and record this video at a mall that is somewhat near me, and it's pretty empty and abandoned. This is like a huge mall, and it's just empty. The stores are gone. The parking lot looks like The Walking Dead out here. And there was something not nostalgic, but something I think poetic about doing it here, where so much of my love for toys traces back to Toys R Us, KB Toys, and these stores that were in malls. And I spent a lot of my youth in malls. I spent a lot of my time as a teenager hanging out in malls. I spent a lot of time as a kid being spoiled by my mom and my aunts at malls. And if it wasn't for malls, I wouldn't have this connection to toys. I didn't know how to include this in one of my regular videos. And I really love the conversation around why people collect, nostalgia. I think collecting for me is not about a want, it's about trying to fill a need. I was an only child until I was about 9. I had an older half brother and half sister, but they didn't live with me, and I spent quite a lot of my time playing with action figures, playing with toys, coming up with stories and like using my imagination in that way. And now actually as a father, when I see my daughter play with toys and I hear her whispering little stories to herself, it's like exactly what I did. Along the way, I lost all my toys, which is like a tale as old as time, I think, for collectors. It's easy to blame my mom or my dad for getting rid of toys, but they probably asked me, and I probably said, I don't want them anymore. Because at a certain point, 13, 14, 15, I was more interested in BMX and skating and girls, and so it wasn't a big deal to me. And then I moved out to California in around 2015, and I'll never forget going to this shop in Pasadena. Everything changed. It was an immediate kick in the gut when I saw the glass case filled with Ninja Turtles and G.I. Joes and Transformers and 1989 Batman. Kind of an eye-opening experience. It was something I didn't know I needed. I didn't really know what that feeling was yet, and I didn't really know that people even collected this stuff. The most I knew of it was the 40-Year-Old Virgin, where they ridicule him for having toys in his house. And now that I'm almost turning 40, I relate to that man immensely. So then I started looking for other toy stores. I started diving a little deeper into it, bought some Kenner Star Wars, bought some Ninja Turtles, and it sort of opened up the portal to this whole world. But not from a video creator standpoint, just from a true passion of, I need these figures in my life because of the way they connected me to my childhood. So purely nostalgia. I wasn't collecting toys I didn't know. Yeah, so I would collect to connect to my childhood. You know, an interesting aspect of when I grew up, I still had a cassette tape. I still had a CD player. I had VHS tapes. It was all physical media. And even though once I was in high school and into college, it was the internet, it still took a long time, in my view, to switch from physical things to digital things. That connects to collecting, because we can't collect digital things. Sure, there are NFTs and obviously lots of cool things on the internet, but I can't really physically collect that stuff. And I think a lot about even making videos on my phone of my daughter and all this stuff, and like, what is gonna happen to that stuff? But I think that's why I'm collecting, and I think that's why a lot of people collect. It is a tangible connection to a physical thing from our past. And even though I collect a lot of things that I didn't have as a kid now, because I'm just an admirer of the whole art form that is toy design and toys in general, yeah, it's not all nostalgia for me, but in a way it is. In a way it is. I recently did this YouTube live with my buddies, The Collectible Show, and they had asked me, why did I start making YouTube videos? And I gotta be honest, I froze. I didn't have an answer. It's not something I had actively thought about, and it's been bothering me ever since, because there is big reasons why I started making YouTube videos. I wanted to be a filmmaker. I made lots of movies around the time when I was in high school with my best friend, and when Jackass was really big, that was like hugely influential. And always making movies with my little brother, just like home movies, home videos that we would literally show my mom and my dad and like try to get them to laugh. Like that was it. You know, I had dreams of just like being a feature film director. I sort of, out of college, fell into directing music videos, and that became my thing for like 10 years, while also making short films that were playing at film festivals around the world, and like I almost just got hit by a car. Like I was on the path to that career. And so that's why I ended up moving out to California. Then the industry started changing. I got tired of the music industry, budgets got lower and lower, and the creative aspect was not enough to sustain like the rest of it. I kind of just like didn't enjoy myself. I was then getting into commercial directing, and I did this spot for Puma, and then the world shut down. And then I had a baby. Truly everything changed. And so for the last few years, I've really been struggling with my identity as a filmmaker and as a creative. I think I was grasping for things to scratch that creative itch. I even got really into fashion and vintage clothes and that sort of thing, just as a way to be creative. But then I really missed making videos. And so I started making just like little TikToks. I was terrified. It was getting over the hump of being a performer, which is something I've never done. I've always been behind the camera. Even now, even walking around and doing this right now, because I have a selfie stick and I'm very uncomfortable. So then I made my first YouTube video. It was really scary because it was me just like talking about the talking ET toy for like, I don't know, 7 minutes or something, just me. It's really vulnerable to just do that. I started doing it more and more. And I realized that I wanted to tell stories. And I found what I think is sort of I don't know if it's unique, I guess, but a different way of doing videos than what a lot of people are doing. And that's no judgment. I watch all sorts of toy videos, but I always want to have a story in my videos. I want it to feel like you're experiencing an arc of something from the beginning to the end. And I didn't want to just showcase toys because I'm not an expert at toys. I will be the first one to tell you that. And it's intimidating to be friends with some people that I am friends with now in this community who I think could teach classes on toy history and everything that has to do with toys. And I'm like kind of the idiot playing with my Ninja Turtles in the corner. I kind of don't care. And it bothered me in the beginning. And there's still moments where I feel inadequate. I kind of like doing it because it's fun. And I like doing it that it connects me to my childhood. And I don't care that people think it's dorky or nerdy. And I don't care that people think it's lame outside of the toy community, of course, because the older I get, the less I care what people genuinely think about me. I don't care if they don't like my interests. They don't have to. So making YouTube videos is not something I dreamed for myself, but now it feels like a dream a little bit. And it's exciting to me, and it's filling creative holes that were gaping, basically. It is like one of the greatest communities I've ever had, both personally and professionally. It's just special, and it's kind, and it's generous and creatively fulfilling. I don't really know why I'm deserving of people liking my stuff. I just kind of make it and put it out there. With all that being said, if you are someone who likes vintage toys, and if you are someone who is collecting toys or is admiring toys from afar, and if you really like nostalgia from the 1980s and the 1990s and the early 2000s, check my channel out. This might be the first time you're hearing about me, and if it is, go check out what I'm doing. I really think you're gonna like it. I feel proud of the videos. I will say goodbye there, and I will see you over in the videos.